What's up, boys? You might be the most blown up person in the DMs, in the group text, in the comments.
Really?
The people want you on the podcast.
Cool, man.
Do you realize how Riverside fame you are?
Nah, man. So it's crazy. Like I think we were talking a little bit earlier about this, but yeah, it's been wild. I honestly haven't paid attention because I've been keeping my head down and just grinding and dropping content, cutting hair, interacting with people in person. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss. When you're like a barber, you meet a lot of people, you network a lot, you meet a lot of famous people, you meet influencers, you meet people that are doing things, you know? That's how I met this guy right here. You know, somebody brought him to me, and then years ago he started doing videos for me. We stopped talking because I moved to Texas, and then I come back and then we connected, and I was like, we made a game plan, and here we are, you know?
Dude, it is crazy to me how like people in that space do not realize that the organic content that you have to make in that game, and not just photos of hair, is like literally like photos of hair was like 5 years ago on Instagram. Now it's like you got to be cool. Now you can do the photos like outside the barber shop. You got to do like screenshots. You got to do like cool like reels really quick. Throw the Instagram. Like it's so much. Can we go back to like 2016 Instagram? That made
where it was like super easy.
Like I post a photo of my food and I get 100 views.
Nobody cares about pictures anymore. Instagram's like competing with TikTok right now. They're having like an identity crisis, right? When you're like, they're trying to like push the reels. So like now even your pictures might have to be reels, you know?
That's the new hack now. Like you put the picture as a screen recorder and they throw it as a reel. And anyway, so why don't you tell people who you are? They don't know you.
So my name's Luis. I own the Ranch Barber Company. This is my buddy Peter. He owns Troy Visuals. He's been helping him on marketing since we started.
This show is sponsored by Resilient Real Estate Group, powered by EXP. So, you're thinking about buying and selling soon? Yes, we know you probably know a realtor, your mom's best friend's cousin's neighbor, who puts her face on the local shopping cart. But you know what? Our friends at Resilient Real Estate Group have helped hundreds of thousands of people sell houses over the years, and they definitely know what they're doing based on their 5-star review on Google and Zillow. So it doesn't matter if you're looking to buy $1 million house or a fixer-upper, make sure the next time you're thinking about buying and selling real estate, you give our friends a call over at Resilient Real Estate Group. And now we're back to the show.
I've owned the shop, and I started in a studio, was there for like maybe 2 or 3 months, and we were getting way too busy too quickly. If people don't know how like salon studios work, right? The idea is that you're like got your own little place. It allows you to do like a very what was it called? It's low risk because you're not building the place out. And as you know, we were talking earlier once again about this.
The money.
Yeah, the money, man. You need money. It's really cheap overhead, but the thing is, you're paying a lot of money for a small space. So you're not really capable of making money. But what it's good for is building your reputation. Yeah. And what it forces you to do, it forces you to grow with your marketing. Yeah. Because you don't have that big shop in the big retail shop in front of the street where you can like really promote, you know, physically.
Yeah, you're not getting that walk-in traffic.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, we worked on building great customer service, which is like the most important thing to me even right now. The pricing's like right below the market of what it's going for right now. And the booth rent that I'm charging is also slightly below the market. Yeah. Because to me, I want to bring people in. I want to keep the barbers happy and the clients happy. And I built a system so far that's been working. I don't think that any of the barbers are going to leave anytime soon. Yeah. Which is something that like I've noticed that it's very important. You know, I do the booth rent model, not the percentage model, because my goal is to help people become independent. So
what people don't get when it comes to barbershops or salons or anything, like there's 2 choices you can do. You could be commission based where you go in and you get hourly on top, or you say like, hey, I'm going to rent this booth for a blank amount of dollars a month. You could make tons of money or no money. You got the bills on you.
Hey, you ready for this? Yeah. It's not hourly. There's actually 3 options now.
Oh, really?
About a year or 2 ago, I think State Board changed it where you have to either pay people hourly, kind of like Fantastic Sounds does.
Yeah, that style.
You make no commission. I think you might still get a tip, but you don't make any commission. Or you do commission, which you're doing like 70-30%. Or sometimes I hear of 60-40, or like if you go to Victoria Gardens where it's like, you know, a lot of money's there. I've heard a 50-50 split.
50-50?
Yeah, so it's crazy. And like, I think for me, it was really about learning how to like, okay, so before I became a barber, I was a client.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, you know, a lot of us are, but the idea is that I started a little bit later. I started cutting hair when I was 24. And I think I realized how it felt to be a client. Yeah. And I never wanted to like have somebody feel like that, bro. Yeah. You know, you ever been somewhere and you ask for a haircut and then they don't do what you want?
Dude, I used to travel for work for 10 straight years, and I would have to always every 3 days. 3 to 4 days I was in a different city. So you roll into a city, you don't got your person, you know what I mean? So like, and my girl at the time was a hairstylist, so like she's super anal about my hair, you know what I mean? So then I'm like getting dues. Like, I'll never forget this. I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I went to this guy, older dude, just totally murdered my hair, dude. Just to the point where I came home and my girl was like, no, go
Did
back.
you shave it?
Like, went back, shaved it. Like, it was that
knew
bad.
It. I knew it, bro.
Dude, that, and then another time I was in Illinois somewhere, and I rolled up into this, like, all-black barbershop, you know what I mean? And I was straight up, and they're like, do you know where you're at? And I'm like, listen, bro, I'm just looking for a cool fade and this and that. He's like, can you do it? And they're like, yeah. I was like, all right, cool, thanks. Boom, came out. But it's nerve-wracking when you don't got a spot.
Exactly,
or when you're going into a new spot and everyone's like clicky, you know what I mean? You're like, do I fit in here? You know what I mean? That's a fear that people do not process.
And I go back to the same thing, right? What's the most important thing? I mean, you even know this, customer service.
100%.
When you're doing real estate or when you're doing this, it's about how you present yourself, how you talk to people. And that's the one thing, like, even when I have someone in the chair, like, I've literally had people sit in my I'm sorry, man, I'm Mexican, by the way, for those who don't know. So I had people sit in my chair, and they're sitting there, and they're, like, shaking, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, can you do this? And they're shaking their hand. And I'm just like, the moment I realize that, I'm like, hey, bro, relax. You know what I mean? Like, I got you. Yeah. I'll do one side of the hair. Yeah. And I tell people, I'll do one side of the hair. I'll show you the mirror so you know what I'm doing, so you can feel comfortable and you know what I'm doing. And then at the end of the day, like, when they see that, they immediately relax.
Yeah. It's scary, dude.
Dude, it is.
Especially when you got a big event coming up. You got a wedding or something big,
bro.
Like podcast or something. You're like, oh shoot, dude, if you fuck this up,
the biggest thing, bro. Hey, you can have a job interview.
Yeah.
You can ask your wife to get engaged. I mean, your girlfriend at the time to get engaged to become your fiance. Your wedding day, those pictures are gonna be there forever. Bro, it's important,
dude. It's important. That's why, like, you gotta be loyal. Like, if you get someone, you stick with that person.
They say. If my wife hears this, forgive me, but they say you should cheat on your girl before you cheat on your barber. You know what I mean?
Like, people always say that all the time, like, why don't you just go somewhere else? I'm like, no, I'm loyal. Like, this is who I stay with. They're like, I'm like, this is who I stay with.
Yeah.
And then people are like, what about? And I'm like, listen, until they fuck up, why am I gonna switch?
That's it.
I have loyalty in that aspect.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? So, how'd you get started in the video game, dude?
Well, first of all, I want to go back to that topic real quick. Yeah. I feel like I've done a lot of videos for Luis, but he's also my barber, and I see. While I'm in there shooting the videos and everything, I watch every client walk in, and like they're new clients, and he's always very welcoming to them.
Yeah.
And it's such a good feeling, like knowing that I'm doing work for like someone who cares about the clients and like also cares about me, and he's known me for a while, you know?
Yeah, I think it's underrated.
Yeah. And I've known him for a while now, and it's like he still is like, what do you want to do with your hair? What can we do? Like he's still
nothing changes.
Yeah, it's
every
like,
time.
I think it's really
as
cool.
he's wearing a hat today.
You feel me? Hey, I don't think he was prepared to be in it.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, bro. Listen, you could be a walking billboard right now, and you got a hat on.
He had it in my haircut,
the White
bro.
Sox of all people, they're not even good. I mean,
I don't even know if he's a real fan of the White
Tony
Sox.
La Russa, that was the only guys you had, but
I don't even watch the. I like the logo.
That a boy.
Hey, thank you for putting him on blast.
Listen, dude, when you come into this place, there's two things you got to worry about. You might be on camera. Literally, someone walked in yesterday. I'm like, you want to shoot a video? And they're like, I'm like, you're in the office. You're shooting a con. And I have other people show up. I'm like, podcast right now? They're like, I wasn't really. Okay, sit down. Adrian, get it set up. We got 30.
This is
the nervous place.
The camera, so I'm like, I'm not prepared to be on camera.
Yeah.
So.
Do you do well in front of the camera?
Yeah.
Do you get nervous on it?
No.
Like, Adrian hates it.
He does?
He will never be in front of the camera.
That's crazy.
Like, I try to put him in front of it, and he's, nah. He won't do it.
Hey, going back to marketing, right?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I think when I first started, and you can ask him, I was always nervous, giggling in between. I mean, a grown man shouldn't giggle like that, man, and it gets you nervous. But I think once you get in front of it and you stop caring, you know, that's really what it is. You stop caring about how you look, or I mean, you have to care a little bit, right? But you don't care to the extent where you're like nervous about it.
You almost see it's like, okay, this is what I got to put into it, and then it's like, what is the upside to that, and does that upside outweigh the nerves of doing it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So the whole reason I started like with videos is because I wanted to be on camera. So I wanted to start making YouTube videos and.
Got it. Were you trying to vlog or?
Yeah, I did make vlogs, and right now I just started back up, and I'm.
They're so hard, dude.
Yeah, it is.
We made 100 vlogs. It takes so much editing time.
Yeah, it does.
Where we started realizing like the cost per time.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And then we were going through like the aftermath of COVID. So then people were like, I can't believe you're doing that. And I was like, you know what? It's not even worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it could be very discouraging.
Yeah.
When you're making so many and you're pushing them out, and they're like, wow, I've done 100 and I've only gotten like
barely
one
anything.
video did 2,000 views. And it's like, dang. It's like It's like, where do I go from here?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just like sometimes like the crazy part is like that's an interesting part probably with barbers like you or people that want to get in a video. It's like, I want to do this, and then they do it and they're like, oh my god, this took me 10 hours to make and I got 10 views and I got no money off of it. Yep. Now do that for 5 years.
Well, so check this out, right? With both, I think with everything, anything in business, it's risk versus reward. I think that's what you were like getting to earlier. And I think that's the biggest thing that people don't realize, that sometimes you don't get the reward till later, where for some people it might come a lot sooner. Yeah. You know, and I think that's something that people don't pay attention to. Like I've been blessed with the opportunity to cut a lot of people know, right? Like I think the first experience I had before I became a full-time barber was I remember the Damn Daniel kid? Yeah. Dan Lara. Yeah. Shout out to Dan Lara, man. He one of my buddies, Jose, he's a pro boxer. He brought him, and I was doing house calls at the time. This was, and I was like a mechanic full time, and I was a part-time barber for like a year and a half. Like I would get off of work on Fridays in my mechanic suit and smell like oil, and then I would literally go cut hair till like 1 a.m. And I remember he came by, and it was a cool experience, and it made me realize like that's when it clicked, and I was like, okay, you can meet people doing this. Yeah. You know, people will speak about you, and then now I'm at a place where I've cut the likes of Robert Garcia, you know, the boxing trainer. Shout out to Fern's Barbershop. That's where I started. Mad love for the guy. He's actually, I think his first location is down the street. And I was there in his Moreno Valley location for 3 years, and I got to meet Virgil Ortiz. You know, he's an up-and-coming boxer as well. I think he's like ranked #1 in a couple of like the ranks. Ricardo Sandoval is another pro boxer. He actually got to wear one of the shirts in his last fight. Oh, nice. He was under the Ryan Garcia main card, you know, at last time Ryan Garcia fought. So it's been cool, man. It's been cool just to kind of meet people, and I think that's why I've kind of like, I don't want to say so much blown up, but people know about me because I've been able to cut people with the name.
Is it shocking to you that, did you ever think like I would cut hair and then that would lead to like meeting all these people and being like this and having 12,000 followers on Instagram? And all this stuff. It's like, dude, I just kind of cut hair. I just cut hair.
That's it.
I just cut hair.
And you know what's crazy? I boxed for like 8 years, competed as an amateur. I got to meet Saul Rodriguez, super cool guy. He came by the studio when we started, you know. One of my barbers actually grew up with them. And the idea is that I think I sat there, and the first time I cut, I think it was Robert Garcia was like the first technically famous person out there, like, you know, Dan Lara. And I sat there and I was like cutting his hair, and I think I was like nervous. And then eventually I had to psych myself out because you start having real conversations with them and you realize they're just people.
They're just like everyone else. They're just somewhat kind of better at something.
That's it.
Or like Dan Daniel, he was wearing the right shoes at the right time.
Hey, that's all it takes.
You know what I mean?
It goes back to the marketing aspect of it. Hey, you do 100 videos, 10 videos.
One might go.
One might go.
One might go. So who are you? So you're doing you're getting busier in the video game. Yeah. And you're working. Are you leveraging him to get in front of more people, or how is that kind of working?
So we set up a game plan a little while ago, and it's kind of where I'm helping him market all of his stuff, and like he's just pushing out reels. We're starting this new thing where we're doing like an interview every
other week right now.
Yeah, like every other week.
Yeah.
And so trying to just push out content pretty much. But it's got to the point where I'm like busy and like people are wanting a bunch of stuff because they're seeing like he's doing good. Yeah. They're seeing other people I'm doing work for.
Is it good, mostly people in that industry, the hair industry, are hitting you up, or everyone?
So I've helped a couple of my friends with like TikTok videos.
All right.
So they've done, one guy got like almost 1 million followers, and then this other guy I'm working with now, he got like 200,000, and he has like 40K on Instagram. God,
I hate TikTok.
A couple million, hey, but a couple of them have 1 million views, man. Peter knows what he's doing, man.
Dude, I think that's the hard part is finding a person's brand and then having to make contact for their brand. Yeah. Like sometimes I always laugh, like I'm like, God, our stuff, what we do is not sexy, so it's like not gonna pop off, you know, like
not right away. Yeah.
Like, hey, let me show you this $400,000 house in Riverside. It's really awesome. You know what I mean? It's not like $1 million lists or something. So it's like the stuff like that just doesn't do well on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like I always say, like I was like, man, if I was a hot chick, I would crush.
Oh my gosh,
if I was a hot girl, I would own this world.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Bro, hey, and you want to know why? And it's shout out to the girls, you know, that they're hustling. But, like, I think for us guys, you know, we're the hunters. Yeah. Right? We're the people that get after it. Mm-hmm. I don't care how many women are acting like, you know, they can get after men as well. But I still think the percentage, like, that chase women is, like, men do it way more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it goes back to dating. actually reverse everything back to dating. Dating is what equals sales, equals marketing, or whatever.
Everything.
Because it's like, it's so funny when I, like in my space, like a hot girl will get in the industry and they just won't do well. And they're like, I don't get this. I'm like, your whole life, people have come after you because you had something, aka your looks, that they wanted. Now you're providing a service that you're not great at
because you're not chasing after it,
and other people are way better at you.
Yep.
You're not the hot girl in the bar anymore.
Yep.
And you don't know how to approach someone and get their word no because you've never heard no before, and you're like how do you ask a lead for their phone number when you're only used to people asking you for your number? And it's this transition that we've been training for years,
bro.
We've been doing this since 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come at us.
Yeah.
I'll get that person's number before you will.
And you know what's a deadly combination is women that learn that.
Oh my God!
Shout out to those women, bro.
Those girls,
bro. If you're hot and you're getting after it, no matter what you do, you're gonna succeed.
Dude, I tell you, and the algorithms are just built for you.
That's it.
They're just built for you, and it is what it is.
That's
You know what I mean? It's nothing to hate on them, but it's like I hate when those girls want to give social media advice when it's like if you weren't hot, you probably wouldn't do so well.
People won't look at your videos.
Like you can't throw I can't have a towel in front of my face on TikTok and drop it. People are like, I'm not watching it. You know what I mean?
Hey, the body don't
That's
look good.
true. Maybe Adrian. That's our new idea. We're gonna start doing that.
Hey, okay, so check this out. So I took a picture, right? I was at Newport, like super random, and that goes back to the you don't know idea, right? At first, I was promoting more on Instagram and just promoting. And I spent a lot of money promoting on Instagram. That's how I got a lot of my followers and likes and views initially. But it was costing me a lot of money. So I was like,
were you running ads on it?
Yeah, so I was running ads. I was only doing like $50 a post to try to kind of like do my own market research. Yeah, just to see what's going on, you know? And I realized that people want to see pictures of me and not so much like me cutting hair or something, right? So I'm like, okay, people must think I'm somewhat of a pretty face. That's cool, you know? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, whatever.
Oh, your wife thought.
Hey, obviously, right?
You got one.
You got one. That's true. Shout out to my wife, Madeline. But now, so check this out. We're sitting there and she takes a picture of me at the beach and I'm like, I'm going to post to see what happens, right? I'm wearing flip-flops. I'm always wearing cowboy boots. You know what I mean? I go with my theme and I'm very committed. And when I posted it, I was like, look, no boots, right?
Yeah.
And I promoted it. I got a bunch of people DMing me in my comments. People were talking about my toes. And I was like, I never knew that people were that into feet. And people were messaging me and hitting me up. And I was like, I don't know if I'll ever take a picture with flip-flops again, you know?
It is. It's a weird game out there.
Oh my God,
yeah. Dude, I know girls that are flight attendants. They'll get DMs all the time like, hey, can I buy your pantyhose after flying all day? Yeah.
No.
Bro, the world's weird out there, dude.
Yeah, it's different.
It is a dangerous world. So for you guys, do you guys have a marketing schedule? Like, do you go like, hey, we shoot today? Like for us, like Tuesday, Wednesday's podcast, Thursday is a show for me that I work on, Monday is news videos. Do you have it all structured out like that, or is it just kind of whenever?
So what has happened lately with Peter and I is that when he started with me, he wasn't as busy. Like he was still busy, but he was running a lot of videos with me, and I think things kind of lined up for him in a good way where like he started kind of picking up. So what he's been doing for me lately is teaching me how to be a little more hands-on.
Got it.
And I feel like you understand this, right? As a business owner, like you will learn to do things or be things that you never like set out to be. You never thought you would learn.
I never thought I'd do any of this.
Exactly. So I got on the marketing scene a little more now. What I have him do for me nowadays, because he is so busy with other influencers and stuff, I'm like, shoot me a video and I'll edit it. And it takes a lot of time out of my day, but I'd rather do that and be able to drop things more consistently. Yeah. Where like, you know, I would call it a mock interview where I'm like answering a lot of the questions that like people want to hear. I'm in a position where like I want him to still shoot those and maybe I start editing them. So
I'm surprised that it's not the other way around. For me, shooting's way easier than editing.
Really?
Editing's the worst. Editing's so hard.
Hey,
I'm surprised you guys don't do it the other way.
Well, you know what it is too. I caught on to it fairly easily because not only is he a great teacher in that aspect, but like I've always had like an artistic mindset. Yeah. So I enjoy the process.
I have zero.
Yes, and that's all it is. I mean, when you're behind the chair, you have to be somewhat artistic.
100%.
You know?
I have no, like, I had to hire a graphic designer because I have zero of those skill set. Like, I can't make a thumbnail to save my life, and I'm terrible.
See, I don't even know what that means. Like, to me, I'm just been, I heard it somewhere. They said if your content's good, people are gonna watch.
And that's the other thing too is like you know, obviously that's what another thing people don't realize is like if your content has to be good, and then your content also has to be for a wide audience. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard when it's such a super niche thing. Yeah. You know, like like some people will be like, oh, I run this business. All right, cool. Like there's maybe like 50 people out there that actually want to know about that. That's just not going to go viral. Like, you just got to know that's not going to be a thing. So for you, like, now that you're making this transition of your own business, has it been overwhelming for you?
You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
No, because I'll be honest, I am going through a breakup and I like staying busy. And so,
bro, that is the best motivation.
100%.
F that girl.
And honestly, I was going
we get real on this podcast,
hey,
people.
Bro, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
man.
problem.
I was going through a very like depressing time.
Yeah.
And then I went over to Luis and he's like, dude, you just gotta stay fucking busy,
bro.
And I'm like
busy
fire in the
hands,
ass,
dude.
man.
I had people like hitting me up during the time I like took my time, and then once I was ready, like I'm like, okay, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all I'm doing is cramming myself until I'm falling asleep in the chair. And then
Dude, I'll tell you what, the reason this building is here and this is all here is because of ex-women.
That's
like
crazy.
100%.
Hey.
I don't care what man you're out there. It's motivation.
Hey.
All right, B.
Yeah,
I'll see you.
yeah.
You wanna?
Hey, I was just telling my wife this. Hey, I was telling my wife this, right? And check this out, guys. For the men out there, right? For the men out there, don't let a breakup stop you from being consistently positive and being consistently successful. At the end of the day, what happens, you go through a breakup. This is going to seem super petty, right? So apologize beforehand.
Don't be.
Hey, but if you go through a breakup, make her fucking regret it.
Dude, my girl.
Every single time. And get better and get better and get better. So when they're looking at 10 years down the line, you're fucking richer.
Yep.
You're doing a lot better. You still look good. You might be 40, 50 years old, but you look like you're 30. You know what I mean?
I might start
100%.
running ads to my exes. You know what I mean?
Start saying, hey, look, we're doing better.
We're doing Target ads to them. You know what I mean? I got a list. I'm coming at you.
Hey, DM a lot of people. Be like, send it to so-and-so.
Yeah. We got a Facebook campaign against you.
Oh, man, bro. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, at least, I appreciate you're honest about that. I think that's the one thing hard about, I've had people on here conversations about men. It's so hard as men to like be like, I'm struggling or I'm going through a breakup or I'm stressed out, because it's like we have to be the leader of the family.
Facts.
No emotions.
Facts.
We got to be the business owner, the leader. And then what's hard is like, I can't have any doubt, you know what I mean? Because then if I'm showing doubt, then does my girl think I'm doubting myself, you know what I mean?
And if you're leading, you're showing doubt, they're going to see doubt.
That,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
And then does that get them off? And it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously women, nothing to women, but it's sometimes really hard to be able to do that. And do you guys struggle? I know I do in this space sometimes, especially being from Riverside. It's like you're going through something in business and you're like, who do I like? What met like who's doing what I'm doing that I could be like, yo, I'm going through this. Like, have you gone through that? Like, that's what I'm always searching for. I
mean, hey, I gotta be honest with you. I think that's like the most beneficial thing, and people like it's something that I never noticed, right? Until like I got a little older in the Barber game, we socialize a lot.
Yeah.
And I think there's still some people that are like withdrawn, but I've noticed that like being open about that. I mean, he knows. Like sometimes he'll come in, like especially when it first happened. He came in and I he's been a really good friend of mine for like years, so like he came in and I noticed something immediately. So like I had a haircut waiting. I was like, I'll be with you in a second. Like I take my time with people. Like
I
really,
rush,
well, even then I want to care about people. So when I'm doing a haircut, I'm not rushing, but also when I'm talking to people, I'm genuine because I'm like, people love that. You know what I mean? And now that people are getting exposed on social media a lot quicker, I'd rather be, like you said, be honest and genuine, even in a podcast or whatever.
Yeah, because then if someone comes at you, right, you have the people behind you to be like, dude, that's not him.
Well, here's the thing, right? There's that saying. You said you can hate me for who I am, but you're going to respect me for who I am.
Yeah.
Because you're not pretending to be someone you're not. You know what I mean? And, same thing, man. He comes in and like I have to press Peter sometimes. He's a little more
He's a quiet guy over here.
Yeah.
He's opening up a little bit on this podcast.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I talk a lot. It's just I'm letting you guys do your thing, seeing where I can stick in.
Just kind of jump in. But, no, hey, but the thing is with Peter, like I had to push it out of him. And then after that, we're talking for like 30 minutes. And I think that's something that I realized too, that sometimes I'm so busy with business It goes back to the same thing. Let me ask you something,
Yeah,
right?
ask away.
All right, so
this is a podcast.
Yeah.
I forgot to say that. I always tell people all the time, like, you can ask any question.
No.
Yeah.
And I will, but see, like, us being men, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love my women. You know what I mean? But physically, we're different. You know, God gives us different builds. We're naturally stronger. If a female and a male, biologically, right? Because, you know, I know there's a different world out here now. But let's say biologically you're a male and a female, and your bone structure and everything might be denser, etc. You might naturally be stronger if both people didn't work out till 30. Here's the difference, right? I think that the reason that, you know, and I took this quote from the Godfather movie, you know, he says, I think it's Vito Corleone, you know, Don Vito?
Yeah.
He says, women and kids have the ability to be careless, men don't.
Yeah.
And I might be just chopping up the quote a bit, but what I took from that was, like, let's say you were out hunting. Let's say you were native, you were out hunting, and you had to kill to eat, right? If women get pregnant, are they capable of running at 9 months?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or let's say they have morning sickness, and we go back to these times. Who's going to protect them?
Yeah.
Who can be careless? They can, because they know that they're physically compromised. Where for us men, we can't do that. The only thing that's changed is that now we hunt money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the difference. And the better hunter you are, the better lifestyle that you live.
Sure.
And the better you're able to protect your kin.
Yeah.
And I think that's like what people don't realize, right? It's that, like, us men have that, I think, innate, like, genetic responsibility, and we don't talk about things, or we don't, like, allow us to we don't allow ourselves to be that because we have that. But the difference is that now we're in a place we have social media.
Yeah.
We have good people. I think the biggest thing for someone like me and you, and you know, that he's starting his business, is that when you're a business owner, I find it a lot easier to talk to other business owners.
Because they understand.
They understand what it means to manage people. They understand what it means to handle different responsibilities and different personalities, or what it means to feed other families as well. Like, now you're not
that's
just...
the pressure.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Dude, that's the thing that I try to tell people all the time. Like, when you start a business and you start hiring people, you got to know, like, they're putting food on their table on your back.
Yep.
So you got to just not stress
100%.
to the family that you're sicking at home. It's like, okay, well, if I don't produce, then this person doesn't go in. And then people wonder why, like, you know, more like in our space and probably yours, is like, bro, like, stop sending me emails, stop doing this, stop following up. It's like, bro, I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to eat and feed my family, and I'm trying to feed the 5 other employees that I do. And if I go down, I'm losing, you know, I'm taking $300,000-$400,000 out of people's pockets.
That's it, bro.
I am the rainmaker of this.
Yep.
You know, and I think that is the pressure that it takes. In some moments, like, I actually was texting my assistant today because I kind of, like, she said something and I was like, just figure it out. Like, I was like, I got 6 podcasts and I got this and that.
Yeah,
right? And
bro.
so I, like, boom. And then I, like, text her, like, hey, sorry, like, I didn't mean to do that. I just, you know, a lot. And she's like, oh, well, take a break today. And I, like, screenshot my schedule to her and I sent it. And I go, where? I said, where do you want me to take an hour break today? There's not. Where's the one?
But good shit on you for apologizing, bro.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's one thing I think a lot of business owners, and I worked with different barbershop owners, and I got to say, like, I actually made a reel about this recently. He shot the thing. He sent me, like, a whole clip, and I was like, there's too much information. I'm going to chop it up. And I asked him for permission because his work is his art. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hey, is it cool if I chop it up? He's like, yeah, go ahead. So once I got the green light, I chopped it up, and, like, I speak on that, right? I felt super unhappy in the work environment that I was in, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a big reason why I started my business. Like, I was already making good money. I'm going to be open with finances, by the way, guys. If your barber makes it look like he doesn't make money, he's lying or he's lazy. One of the two things. I'm bringing in anywhere between $10,000 and $12,000 a month just cutting hair.
Yeah.
No booth rent, nothing like that, right? So the reason I put that
up. I want everyone to stop for a second. That's $12,000 before taxes.
Before taxes. And deductions. All right. Yeah.
So I want everyone to, like, let me air that out for a second. Yeah. It's not 12 G's. That's 12 plus minus your taxes, minus your deductions.
Everything.
Okay,
everything.
All right. Because I hate when people, you're making $20,000 on the house? No, I'm not. I'm making literally.
Yeah. And if you have employees, 9. You got to pay them.
I'm making 9.
Yeah.
If before the government.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
so continue. Sorry. I just want everyone to know that.
You're good. So, like, yeah, I'm probably taking home about, like, 8. But see, this is where being a business owner, like, comes into play, right? Now the business is going to pay my taxes.
Yeah.
So now I get to take home that money. You know what I mean? But it was never about a financial thing. For me, it was like, okay, I'm already making more than good enough money to, like, exist and live and be free. So if I wanted to be selfish, I would have done that. But when you take up the responsibility and the mantle of being a business owner, I think the smaller percentage of that, I think you know this as well, right, is for yourself. about 80% of it is for other people.
100%.
It's to give back, because you end up finding that when you start making real money, or like what some people might consider real money, I should say, you find contentment in it, but then you're like, it's not passionate anymore.
You get bored.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for people to understand this who not, and I've gotten, not arguments, but I've had to know people, I'm like, I made $19,000 for 10 years straight.
Yeah.
From 19 to 27, I made 19 grand. And then I got into real estate and I made 125 my first year. And that was obviously a massive jump, like, holy shit. Crazy amount of money. Then the next year I doubled that. Cool. And then after that, it was like, nothing, and almost got worse, because it was like, okay, now I have employees, now I have this, and now that, because you start realizing, like, you start losing the will of money. Like, it's like, people are like, oh no, man, if I made that money, but my life would be complete. No, you'll spend it.
Yep.
You realize how much you pay in taxes, and you realize what it takes. Probably like same thing. Like, you're not just gonna make $250 and not have expenses. The more you make, the more you gotta hire this person and that person and this, and then we're all kind of effed up in the head where it's like, let's do more. Let's do more. Let's do more. We're like, what is wrong with us? Can we just chill? Can I just chill for a second? I'm over here like, okay. I'm laying in bed last night actually, and I'm like, okay, what are we going to start doing? Okay, what's the plan for next year? Okay, we got to throw an event. And then my girl's like, what's wrong? And I'm like taking notes, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, if I don't get this in my off my head,
you're not going to be happy.
I'm not going to sleep. Or I'm going to wake up and forget what I was thinking last night, and I'm going to be pissed at myself that I didn't take these notes, and give me a second.
But that's what makes you successful.
100%.
100%, bro. A lot of people will sit there and they say, why am I not successful?
Exactly.
A lot of barbers might hear this and be offended by the information I give and say, yo, like, I'm making $4 or $5 grand and I'm happy. It's because you got content, you got lazy.
And here's the thing: is you like that number until something bad happens.
Yeah.
We're actually doing a thing right now.
That.
Me and my girl are so weird. It was her 36th birthday last week, and we actually went to Laguna. We got a place on the beach. In
Beautiful
Laguna.
place. Yeah.
Great. We're literally, it's her 36th birthday. We had dinner at 4:30, right?
Okay.
And then we literally did our like goal setting for the year and like what success means to you, and like literally that's how excited we get right now. So for you, like, what does success look for both of you? What does success look for you, and what does success look for you?
Go ahead and go first.
Let you jump in.
All right.
Have you never thought about the question?
I have. It's a complicated question.
All right. Why don't I tell you my answer so you can give you a second? So success for me is two things. One, we're never going in circles. We're always going in the right direction. Doesn't matter about money, how things are going, but if we're just moving in the right direction and we're not feeling like I'm spinning wheels, like if we're moving in some direction, that's it. And then two, I want to get to the point where I can never pick money over time. Like booking that flight, I'm taking the fastest flight home. I don't care how much it costs. I don't want to be like, oh, well, this flight takes me 8 hours longer to get home, but it's $300 cheaper. Why don't I take that flight? I never want to get to, I want to get to a point where time always outweighs money. No if and buts are about it. We got to pay for someone to get something done faster. We pay for
better.
it. So those are my two things that success looks like to me.
Well, I would say I think success for me is doing something that you love.
Okay.
And I was working at UPS before this, and I didn't love it.
Obviously. Who does?
Yeah. And so I took a big leap and quit and started working with my friend doing social media. And then I got into the videos and started doing it for other people. And I found it's what I love to do. And I love being behind a camera. And I feel like if you're doing what you love, you're successful with that. But then there's the other version of like successful. How much are you doing? What's your profit margin, income, all that. And it's like, in reality, I'm just doing what I love. And if that's my success and how I don't think it's based off of money for me. Yeah. Obviously, I would love to have money, Yeah. And have this and that, but I'm chasing a dream rather than money. And I feel like that's the most important thing. You're going to be happier and you're going to eventually be more successful
in the long run.
Yeah, in the long run.
Because you won't burn out.
Right.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Do you now that social media is like in like social media gurus and like I can teach you how to do that, does that annoy you when you see people's stuff and you're like, your stuff's trash, bro? You don't know anything.
It does, because it's like you look at some of their videos and then you go through their channel and it's like that's the only video that's done good because everyone's just trying to chase that. But reality.
Hold on a second. Adrian, we need batteries. Light went out. We can keep talking. We'll just jump in and go. Sorry.
Okay, but in reality, you're watching those videos and it's like that is not how it works. And it's like, it's just like, it's crazy how everyone has a source of how to do it. And in reality, you've got to do the work.
Yeah.
That's what does it.
I also
it's
think
not sitting there making the video.
And there's no way to crack the algorithm. Like, I don't want people to realize, like, you got to put out good stuff, but I really think the way to really do well on social is teaming up with people. And if that's not, if the TikTok house has not answered that, all the YouTubers now that go on each other's podcasts is like, it is really like, I feel like that is the way you hack it in 2022 and 2023 is like teaming up with you. Like, you got to follow me, I got to follow me. Okay, let's do something together. You got to follow me, let's do something together. Because it's not by accident. The TikTok houses I have together, the Instagram houses. I mean, Jake Paul was doing Team 10 house for a while. It's like, let's be honest, Jake and Logan teamed up together basically, and then they grew massively
separately
together.
They
grew together, and I think that's the thing is like it's so hard to do. I mean, even if you want to break it down the Kardashians, if it was just Kim, I don't think they'd be as popular if it wasn't for all of them.
Them being like a team,
Them being all a team, and so it's like it's so crazy when people less successful want to do everything on their own. It's like, dude, you really can't. Like, you have to team up,
bro, and the proper marketing, and that's really what it is. It's all about marketing. Like, people think that because you're only getting a certain amount of views or certain likes, you're not going to do well. It's like you get into places, you get into spaces with people that actually want to support you and that know what they're doing a little more than you, and you grow from them and they learn something from you, and it's like the snowball effect.
That and too, maybe your likes and followers are super local.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? I think too many people want to go like, I want tons of followers, I want tons of likes. Great, but if those people are in another state,
how's it gonna
that doesn't
you?
benefit me at all.
Not at all.
Like for me, it's like this podcast, it's like I'd rather be super local where every person watches only in Riverside. But if I have people watching in New York,
shout out to New York.
Yeah, shout out to New York. But like, I went on the algorithm today and I was like, France, Germany, Japan. I'm like, who the frick is watching over there? Like, that doesn't benefit me at all.
Yeah, I have something to add on the social media.
Yeah, add it.
I think you need to know your audience.
Yeah.
Like for Instagram, it could be like a satisfying video of a haircut. But you post that on TikTok, it's like it's not going to do that well because TikTok's more based around like
10-second clips.
Or 10-second clips or like dances.
Yeah.
Or like, who knows? And then you go to YouTube and it's like, I created this big water slide in my backyard. And it's like all about the thumbnail. And you click on that and it's like, not as crazy as it really was. And it's just like, you got to know your audience. And you're not going to find a TikToker switch to YouTube and be like, this big YouTuber now. They have to stick to
what they know
TikTok.
best.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing too. I think too many people, and this is a Gary Vee thing. Obviously, Gary Vee was a guy that really created me. Is that like you want one piece of content and put it on all platforms? It just doesn't work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's like people will go like, I want this. I'm like, dude, just focus on one. Like just get really good at Instagram.
Yeah.
And then maybe go to TikTok. And
then it's the same thing with business.
Yeah.
If you look at it, you don't cut hair and then you're like, okay, I'm opening up a restaurant. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know crap about cooking to begin with. You know what I mean? But I know a lot about cutting hair.
Yeah, my ex father-in-law, he owned a bar. And he had a bar, and he's like, everyone always comes, I want to run a bar. Great, good luck. Good luck. You go, you know nothing about running a bar.
I met a guy when I was in Dallas for a couple months last year. I was cutting hair out there, got to meet a lot of great people, and I met this guy that ran a bar, right? He was super successful. He was in downtown Dallas. They're bringing like a couple $100,000 a month. You know, there's a lot of money, a lot of overhead as well. Yeah. But so he's doing good, and he told me that they sold it and they got rid of it because they were going through a lawsuit like 6 months into it, and they were still running the business. Once they settled, they sold it. Like, we don't want anything to do with it. And I was like, what happened? So he said a 17-year-old snuck in with a 21-year-old ID.
Oh, big ID.
And then she ended up suing. Like, it was like a setup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they let me in. They let me drink. You know what I mean? I was getting molested or touched by guys. And it was just pretty much a setup. And he was like, yeah, we couldn't do anything about it because they were right.
Yeah.
They slipped right behind our security. And we had to settle and pay a couple $100,000. And, like, almost everything we profited, we had to pay out. And we realized this isn't it, you know?
Anyway, so what does success look for you, man?
You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. is on me.
So man, I love that question because at first it was about money. You know, when
Yeah,
you're younger, you're like
it's always
20,
money.
21. Yeah, it starts like that. But it got to a place where I've learned outside of like me and my wife or my kin, my personal like, you know, unit is doing good. It's about taking care of others.
Dude, it's rewarding, dude.
That's it. Like right now I'm paying my mom's rent, right?
Yeah.
I was able to get into like a senior housing apartment
Nice.
a complex, and she has her own space now. She's happy, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
When I see the guys in my shop, they're independent contractors. I tell them, I'm not your boss. I'm the shop owner. If we're like even, but I'm slightly above you because I hold a little more responsibility.
Yeah, of course.
But we're business partners. You're subleasing that chair, and you're paying me a certain amount of money a week, and you know you can leave anytime you like. Give me a heads up, 2 weeks, proper business etiquette, whatever. But what makes me happier than me making more money is when they tell me like, "Hey, bro, I made this much this week," and they're breaking through that 1,500, 2,000 mark, and I'm like, dude, that almost makes me tear up and want to cry as a man, because to be able to do it for other people, or knew that I had it in me to be able to do that for people and putting it into motion and actually like, and knowing that it's working, it makes me happier. So to me, I would say success is not only like a form of making a passive income where you don't have to work, right? You know, leveraging time over money. Like that's something that's super important to me. Like, how can I make money with less time, right?
You sooner or later max out.
Yeah, you can. You only got two
work
hands.
so much.
You only got so many hours in 2 hands. So you have to help. You have to have other people on your team. And the other thing is elevating others. Like I really like, I love helping, making people independent. And like going back to these social media gurus, right? There's a lot of online business coaches, crap like that. And once again, you know this as well. You don't make your money through this.
No.
Your money is literally strictly from what you do in real estate and other things that you do. It isn't through this. So this is like you're more of a passion, more something that you do freely, and you're not selling your advice.
Exactly.
Yeah, like let's say one day, 10 years down the line, we're both doing amazing. Somebody's like, yo, like Adam, I want to pay you $100,000 to speak.
Yeah.
How'd you do it? Like, I'm going to take
I
that
just
money.
got paid last week.
Yeah, there you go.
I got flown up to San Jose to speak for an hour and flew right back.
Bro, you see what I'm saying though? When you do something like that, like, of course I'm going to take that because now I'm performing. It's a performance. It isn't just something that I do on an everyday basis. So like anything I do online, I want to do it for free to build legitimate content and really help people out. Because now I can, even if people in New York are listening to this podcast, right? Like they're learning something.
For sure. And I think that's the thing is it's all about giving, it's all about giving more. And I think that's the hard part. Like this guy named Grant Cardone always says that poor people are the most selfish people in the world.
Facts.
And it's true because they can only take care of themselves. They can only worry about themselves. They can only, like, until you get really big. Like me and my girl texted me the other day. She's like, we need to make more money so we can give more away. And I said, okay, I agree. I was like, I want to give more away possible. But I'm like, so do you want to sacrifice what we have to sacrifice to give to other? Like, that means you don't get to go do this. You don't get to go do that. You don't get to go on vacation. That means you're working 40 hours a week. I mean, like, do you want to do that? And I think that's the hard part is people say they want to do something, but the moment the sacrifice comes up, like today, bro. I have 6-hour podcasts in a row. I already told Sienna and I'm like, you might have to give me throat lozenges later today because my throat might be gone. And then I got 4 tomorrow. And people want to be like, I want to do a podcast. Okay, great. Do 6 hours straight. Do it.
Hey, a trick I learned from a singer. He was on The Voice and everything. Super good guy. He put a little bit of olive oil in your water, and it'll help lubricate your. Okay, yeah, cool. Bro.
I'm kind of nervous by the last one today. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, okay, let's jam it in. Let's get this in. Let's have it up. Our goal is to drop 2 a week. Let's really dive deep in this. Let's do it. Like, let's drop 2 a week. Let's give back. Let's do this. And in 5 years, we'll see where it's at.
I have a question.
Yeah, let's go.
Two kind of.
Yeah.
So why'd you start this podcast, and then is it like your escape from the real estate world?
So the reason I started it was business comes down to 3 things, and I swear by this, and I live every single day. I calculate at the end of the day. Start the day. What are the 3 things I'm going to do, and then how at the day did I hit them? Rule number 1: people have to know who you are and what you do. At the end of the day, sales is all about, and service, whatever product, is more people have to know who you are and what you do every single day or what your product is. 2, people have to like you, right? And then 3, you have to do business with them. So for me, this podcast became, I had a lot of clients who had small businesses but suck at doing this and don't have the funds and the resources to do them. So for me, it's like selling a house is very simple, honestly. Like The market determines what it sells for. We have that dialed in. I mean, we're selling like that part. That part's easy. I've done that part. It's like, cool. So we're gonna bring something into the table. You go to sell a client. I go to sell a client. You sit across a client. You go, hey man, I could do XYZ for your house. Cool. That's it. I come up and go, hey, listen, I can do XYZ, and I see that you run a credit repair company, and I'd love to have you on the podcast so we can chop up content for you, and then so we can promote your business. Who's that person gonna probably go with? Me or them?
Yeah, you.
That. So it's like, how do we bring something else to the table, not just cutting hair, not just selling real estate, not just shooting videos? How do we put one more level on that truly helps people? The one thing I hate about realtors is like, I helped 52 families this year. No, you sold 52 houses, you made a good amount of money, and probably 90 other agents could have done the same thing, 90% of them. But I had this person on their small business, and I got them 20 more clients this year. Which helped them more?
Yeah.
I sold their house, and I got them 20 clients. Let's do the 20 clients.
Yeah.
So for me, that was really the reason we did it. And two, like, it is an escape for me. Like, going back to, I don't think I'm just meant to sell houses for the rest of my life.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? And podcasting is great because now we get clips, and then that's more content for us for the future. So a podcast might have 6-7 clips that we can clip up. And so now I'm not having to shoot 6-7 new videos. We just do a podcast. Okay, that's a great clip.
Now you have a lot of content.
Now we have all those clips. It's kind of the Gary Vee model.
Well, I wanted to ask you something, right? With that, you said Grant Cardone said the poor people are the most selfish.
Yeah.
But when you are poor and when you're starting to hustle and you made your 125, I think like you said earlier, your first year, you have to be selfish because you don't have the resources, the time, or the money to like give 100%. To other people.
But I also think Grant means that by like, he means it not that you have to be selfish. Like, Grant also says you should be the most selfish person in the room at all times.
Yeah.
What he means by that is you can't help anyone else but yourself. When you're growing a business and you're super selfish, I'm the most selfish person in the world. But the more selfish I am, is the more I can give back to other people.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you, right? So I've always had this idea in my head that like if you got a cup of water, right, and your cup of water is empty, how can you give back to people? But you have to fill your cup of water first in order to get back to others. And then in business, the same thing. Before you can like put your money into like whatever your passion may be or something that you like doing outside of just selling houses, I call that a cash cow. Yeah, that's that's a terminology I've been using. Like you gotta find your cash cow first. Yeah. For some people, it might be real estate. For some people, it might be doing visuals for people and helping people on social media. For me, it's been cutting hair. Yeah, like that was my cash cow. Now that I know that I can bring that in consistently, and that's like something that's completely easy for me, like I have it dialed in, I'm like, okay, now what else can I do?
Well, think about it. You want to open another shop. And this is why I get annoyed with people in small, like business owners or whatever. It's like, I have to make my amount of money so then I can go open up another shop and have 5-6 other barbers who might be in barber shops that they're not happy with because they're not run right. And then I can bring them into my space and then I can actually help them. Yeah. Like that's the game that people don't process. It's like, facts, bro. Right? Like people go like, why do you charge so much? Well, I got 5 employees that I got. And then if I need to hire 2 or 3 more employees so then they could have legit jobs so they can do what they're passionate about because they can't find a job where they're editing videos, but that's what they really want to do because they live in Riverside and they don't want to drive to LA every day and I could give them a job. How does that sound? You know what I mean? Dude, that is the game. That's and unless you don't live in it, right? Unless you're just a 9 to 5 W2 employee, bro. You'll never process it.
You know a big reason why I think a lot of people come back to Luis's chair. And I feel...
Listen, I'm going to cut you off. He might not be wearing your haircut, but he's about to drop a dime for you. You know what I mean? This is going to be a great clip right here. He might not be rocking your haircut, but he's going to drop a dime right now. I'm going to stare at you
like I'm in love, right?
He's actually going to drop it. It's going to be so good, it's going to be a quarter. You know what I mean?
All right, now I don't want to say
he's like, I don't talk this whole time. I try to talk. He makes fun of me.
No, I feel like a lot of people come back to his chair because every time they walk away, they learn something. Yeah. And they're like, wow, I didn't think about it that way. And it's like you hear, you know, when you look at someone and you're like, okay, you've never experienced that before. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah. And you're just like looking at them like, okay. But when Luis is talking to you, he's like, you understand what I'm saying? And you could actually talk back to him and be like, nah, I don't. Or, yeah, I do. Yeah. And you're like, you're right. And I feel like once you're there for that 45 minutes and you walk away, you're like, damn, I could actually apply that to my life. And you think about it, and then you come back the next week, and it's like, what am I going to get this week? You know?
Yeah, right?
It's like, it's not the haircut anymore, it's the knowledge.
It is, for example, he brings something to the table more than just haircuts.
Therapy, bro.
Right. That's the truth.
Our haircut costs X amount of money, the therapy is free.
Bro, I got some of the houses I walk into. I'm like, we got divorce, we got this, we got that, and then people
trying to get rid of it because of this, yeah, bro.
I'm like, I'm just trying to sell a house here.
But that's why you're successful,
Exactly.
bro. Once again, it's more personal.
Well, it's that, and there's nothing we can't handle. Like literally, like I tell people all the time, like literally, I'd probably take on too much, but it's like, give me a call, we'll figure out a problem and be solved. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah.
I think the other thing too is like, especially nowadays, let me see if you feel this way too. Like, if I can show people, and you too, if I can show people that it can be done, then maybe that inspires them to be able to take the risk to do it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Whatever amount of listeners there is on this podcast, or the people that watch my reels, I mean, I got people that like my crap, and they don't follow me, or like maybe they don't leave a comment, and it's fine. I get a lot more likes than I do comments, and I get a lot more views than I get likes, right? So I'm like, whoever, even if it's one person, like I think I posted a clip like yesterday, and somebody said, hey, I teach at a barber school in LA. I'm gonna show them your content because it's like actually very insightful, and it's gonna help them in their career. And I'm like, look, if nobody but that one person
100%.
does that, I'm like, I don't care, because I don't know if you know the statistics, right? But they say, I might be chopping it up a little bit, but they say 9% of people are entrepreneurs in America today. Yeah. So it's like the circle gets smaller as time passes. Hard. It is, bro.
Dude, people don't realize how hard it is. Like, it is very tough. And especially guys like us, probably all three of us, like, I never signed up for this. Like, if you would have told me
you're gonna do a podcast
10 years ago,
nope.
Yo, you're going to have your own business, you're going to have a podcast, you're going to want to buy a 5,000 square foot warehouse, you're going to have 5 employees, you want to get to 10 employees, I'd be like, bro, I'm just literally doing my thing.
I'm trying to just survive.
I'm just trying to survive. What are you, crazy? I remember when I signed the lease of this place, I threw up. I was like, I have to sign a 3-year lease for how much a month? Oh my God. Now I'm like, hey, what could be, we could buy that $2 million building, right?
Bro.
Like, we could figure it out. And then the other thing too is like, you almost get to the point where you're like, well, I figured out this before. Yeah. So it's like you get that momentum. Like, it's easy, I don't know how we're gonna get there.
It's easy,
but
bro.
We'll figure it.
And you know what? I'm gonna add to that, bro. Yeah. Like, I at first, okay, so when COVID hit, right?
Yeah.
When the pandemic hit, it happened literally right on my birthday. It was the 20th of March. Freaking sucks, bro. But what ended up happening, I was drinking that night already. I was like, cool. I woke up a little bit hungover, but I immediately got on it, bro. I bought a barber chair. I got a toolbox. I was cutting out of a garage for a couple months. And it made me realize, hey, I can do this. It started with that little simple move. Once I got my barber license, because I ran through an apprenticeship program. Once I got my barber license, it literally turned into opening up a studio. I went to Texas, tried it out. You heard of the hype. And I was like, I don't got kids. I got money. I can figure this out. I was doing all right, but family's way more important to me. So we came back, and I opened up a studio a couple months in. But since I came back, I opened up the studio. I'm learning the online marketing process. And I'm like, okay, if I'm successful here, imagine what I could do on the storefront, Yeah. So then I opened up the storefront, and it's been blowing up. I can't keep up with the demand, so I'm having to hire barbers like once a month, and I'm doing it strategically, right? So now I'm like, okay, I'm 2 chairs away from making it a full shop. I got 2 barbers already lined up, and I'm telling them January and February, and they're willing to wait because they want to work for a good shop. So I'm like, okay, by that time, if I sign the lease, let's say January, February, I can try to hustle a couple of free months, for TI. I'm over here like, all right, if the triple net and the price per square foot makes sense, I sign the paperwork, I build it out, I take my time with the second location. But guess what, man? I opened up business in May. When have you heard another barbershop open up 2 locations in less than a year, bro? You want to know what I noticed?
What?
There's so many people that BS out there, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And the moment you, like you said, you start getting like those wheels greased up, you start realizing like,
the moment you are doing it, you then see the phonies so quickly.
Easily, bro.
And it's so sad because what people don't get, and you probably see this in your space, is like, those are fake followers, those are fake likes, those are fake subs. Like, I don't think people process that. Like, social media can be fake so easily, and it's so dangerous because then people buy into this, and it's like, dude, that's not real. Like, and then it sets an expectation in them that's not existent, and then it's like, well, I can't do that, blah 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 blah, and you're like, dude, that's not even real. Like, he leases that Lambo, you know what I mean, or he rented it for a day, did 30. Like, this is what people don't get. You can rent a Lambo for like 2 G's in one day, take 50, 60, 70 photos. Different outfits.
Everything.
And that's content for the whole year. And then you think this person owns a Lambo.
And you follow them and you listen to them.
And you're taking their advice when they live at their parents' basement.
And this is the difference. You own IE Realtors, right?
Yeah.
I heard about you guys for years now, bro.
Yeah.
Like, since you started it. And I knew about you guys, never got to meet you, by the way, right? So I sat here and I'm looking at it. If I go into this podcast, I'm pretty sure you did a little bit of research on me. I did research on you. the reason I did that is because you got to learn if somebody's really legitimate,
For
right?
sure.
And that's the thing. Like, I go back to why I'm trying to like do social media more now. When I was just a barber, I'm like, we go back to the same thing. There's too many barbers. I want to bring a different angle to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I have real substance. What can I do for people?
Exactly.
Like, I actually own a business. I actually make enough money. I don't have to do social media.
Yeah.
I can literally be off the face of the earth. People already know that I
And I
cut
hate
good hair.
social media too.
Dude, facts.
I hate it.
Facts.
Like, if you look at my Instagram time, it's 30 minutes a day. That's it. I don't post myself. I don't scroll. I don't do, like, people think I'm on there all the time. I go in the DMs. That's it.
Yeah.
DMs out. Like,
I've had Insta deleted for a month.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit. You're on there. You're not satisfied once you're done scrolling.
That's why I don't like TikTok views, man. It's like my girl has 3 kids and her 14-year-old daughter and 12-year-old son. I'll be watching them. They're just like scrolling. I'm like, you're not even processing what you're. Yeah, you might get tons of views, but it's like, what is that? How is that dollar bills to someone? That's not dollar bills to me.
It's not. It's just numbers, bro.
It's just numbers. For
Like-
me, it's like, you're just like, oh, sweet, I got 1 million views. Okay, cool. They're 10-year-olds and
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to put some numbers on the table,
Yeah.
right? So my goal is to open up one a year, right? One barbershop a year.
all in Riverside or all over.
Riverside County.
Okay.
So I'm aiming towards probably like 2 in Riverside, probably 2 or 3 in
Riverside's so
Corona.
big, too,
I got to do one in Norco.
Yeah.
You know, it's called the Ranch. I have
Yeah.
to open one up in Norco. So my goal is to open up 5 of them. I want to like slowly build a team. I'm not hiring skilled barbers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hiring people with good work ethic
And then turn them into
and-
barber. Yeah.
and good personalities.
Dude, that's
Because
the
if you
game.
can exactly, if you can cultivate, you can't teach people good morals.
Wow.
If people have addictions, I've been around a lot of people in the
Yeah,
barber
yeah.
game. If people have addictions, they have bad habits, but they cut good hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about how it looks. I can make you a good barber. I used to be a
Yes.
crappy barber. So it's like you realize that you got to hire good people, and those good people, if they got the good work ethic and they're open to constructive criticism,
Mm-hmm.
they become good barbers. So it's better to take your time, be consistent, do your thing. And we're talking numbers, right? I can, in theory, generate anywhere from like $8,000 to $10,000 per shop. Let's say I was doing $8,000 per shop. This is gross income, guys.
Yeah.
Once again, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm doing $8,000 per shop, passive income, you know, you multiply that by 5, that's $40,000. If I'm making at minimum 10, right? Let's say it was like a bad month. I'm able to say that now. I feel
Yeah.
super blessed.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm making $50,000 passive income, gross income. Let's say I take home 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
After all expenses, taxes and everything. My idea behind that is that if I'm making, right, let's keep it at gross. If I'm making $50,000 of gross income, I'm making $600,000 a year, 5 shops, I'm providing for families. I'm making more money than a lot of your big influencers that are
Yeah.
barbers like Vic Blends, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Shout out to Marvy Marv. I like the information he gives. But you got people out there that are really famous, but they're not making that much money.
No.
You know, they got the numbers on social media, but I'm like, how are you really providing for others? You might be able to give information, and that's super cool. But at the end of the day, like, how much of is it really real? Like, if a recession hit, are your sponsors going to drop you?
Yeah.
If the company shuts down, are you still going to survive? Do you got that grit to like make it through? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You know, what happens if TikTok gets deleted?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, they keep
True.
talking about it.
True.
Like-
or the algorithm switches on you, and all of a sudden you're flatlining. Or YouTube
Yeah.
with the ads that, like 2 years ago was like dead.
Yeah.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, and that's what it is. I tell everybody that I meet, you have to build something in real life because everything else is like fleeting. You don't
Yeah.
have control over that. Have control over something that feeds your family and have something real. So whenever you do something, all it is, it adds to who you are as a person. And people want to listen to you because somebody said, once again, going back to the
Yeah.
Lambo theory, right? Or the Lambo perspective. What do they have in real life? Are they living in their mom's basement?
Yeah.
Did they save for a whole year to make this content and now they're trying to blow up? Or do they have something real to give you? Can you go to their business in person? Like, I'm here right now. And by the way, I'm freaking impressed, bro. You know what I mean?
Thanks, man.
I'm excited to see what you're
Yeah.
going to do. But can you come into a place and say, wow, this inspires me?
Yeah.
How many people can say that, bro? Not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I walked into many barbershops. You have, be loyal to your barber, but come and say hi, bro.
Yeah,
You're going to walk into my shop, and the first thing I hear is like, wow, this is a nice-looking barbershop. And I got inspired by other barbers, man. You know, I take a lot from people, and I take what I want, and I leave what I don't want. And I build my own brand, you know what I mean? And I think that's what it really is, bro. Like, people don't understand. You have to have real substance. And it's sad because this generation, teenagers, you know, younger 20-year-olds, they grew up in social media. Like, me and you, we didn't, bro.
No.
Like, I barely had a cell phone when I was 17 years
Dude,
old.
I got a cell phone 17.
Perfect. You see
And I
what
had
I'm
Snake and bowling on it. You know,
you
internet.
see, hey,
Nothing.
bro, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, you sit there and people don't understand what it means to really interact in the real world.
You don't even know what
and build
T9
something.
is. If you don't know what T9 is,
Facts,
texting,
bro.
you don't know what's up.
Facts, bro.
Exactly. Well, I think that's a great way to end it. Best way to people get a hold of you guys.
So my Instagram, that's the only thing I'm really on right now. I'm trying to, promote it, right? So it's at Luis, Luiz, Cobos, Cobos official. And my company's name is The Ranch Barber Company. You can find us on Google. We have 5-star reviews right now. We're doing great. You can find us on Instagram under that same name. And tune in, guys. I do a lot of business videos. I do a lot of reels on barbering as well. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me. Leave anything in the comments, man. And, shout out to What's Good in Riverside. Thank you.
Man. What about you?
Go into the shop, you'll find me.
Oh, yeah, you just have Instagram.
I like that.
Dude, you know what?
My Instagram is Troy Visuals.
Okay.
_
So you just delete it, but it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. I'm just social media.
Do a little
break.
social media break,
Yeah.
which I think is super healthy. You guys, this is a great time, man. I'll tell
Straight
you what,
up,
the
man.
one thing that people don't realize and they undervalue this, and this is really a big thing that I do this, is that at the end of the day, whenever your great grandkids, this will still be here.
Yeah.
And I think that is the coolest thing we live in today, is that like we will